Tonight, another former student of a private school in Saskatoon is coming forward with abuse allegations. Also, Ottawa withdraws a series of controversial amendments to pending firearms legislation. And while NHL teams have eyes on Connor Bedard, he says he's staying in the moment.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, February 3rd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Another former student of a private Christian school in Saskatoon says she's fighting for justice. Last summer, CBC News reported extensively on dozens of abuse allegations against previous members of the academy and adjacent church, and the demands for accountability. Tonight, Jesse Anton brings us another story of one woman who says a coach at the school didn't face enough consequences for his actions. And a warning, it includes graphic details about sexual misconduct that some viewers may find disturbing.
I just felt lost, honestly, a lot of the time. I felt really dirty. I felt really violated.
Jennifer Beaudry will never forget her first kiss, but it's burned in her memory for all the wrong reasons. She was 14 at the time, attending Christian Centre Academy, or what's known today as Legacy Christian Academy in Saskatoon. Beaudry claims Aaron Benowise, a popular coach at the private school who was about 20 years older, initiated the kiss. Beaudry says Benowise started paying extra attention to her a year earlier when she was 13, and that the attention only grew over the next 4 years, something that as a young teenager she says she didn't know was wrong.
I was scared that if I didn't make people happy, that life would become a living hell every day. So then he started asking to meet up off-site.
By the time she was 16, she says he invited her to his bedroom.
He pushes me back onto his bed, so I'm on my back, he's on top of me. His hands are kind of wandering all over, so his hands go from being on my face to wandering down my neck onto my shoulders, then down like the front of me, all the way down south, I guess.
Beaudry says they did not have sexual intercourse and that Benowise had told her to keep it all a secret for the sake of his career and family. A few months later, she says she decided to confide in a friend. Word spread and the allegations got back to school leadership. And by January 2013, Keith Johnson, the pastor who ran the academy, met with Beaudry and her parents.
Told them everything I could. I'm sitting between my parents. My mom is sitting beside me, bawling her eyes out, asking if I'm still a virgin. My dad is sitting on the other side, just silently in shock, had no idea. They both did, and I kept it a secret really well.
Beaudry remembers the pastor saying Benowise would be fired. And her mother says Johnson told them to contact police, but says he advised them to say the reported interactions started when Beaudry was 16 years old, not 13.
I do definitely remember that Keith said, if you could report that this all happened in the last year, then that would be easier on Aaron.
Beaudry says she followed the pastor's advice and told police she was 16 at the time. She and her family also did not push for charges, and they never saw Benowise at the school or church again. Through his lawyer, Benowise has declined to respond to the allegations, and neither CBC News nor others have been able to reach the former pastor since a proposed class action lawsuit against the school, church, and other players was launched last fall. But his son and the current pastor of the church has also declined to comment. Beaudry filed a new police report in the fall, and earlier this week, Benowise was charged with sexual assault and sexual exploitation of a minor in connection.
It is something that needs to be dealt with and something that needs to be dealt with right away. So it's a huge success, I think, all around. But it's a first step in a long journey. It's not something that's over, but it's been the step, honestly, that I've been waiting for at least, like I said, 15 years now.
The 46-year-old is due in court next month.
And they're sitting there waiting for me.
Beaudry says she's eager to see how the legal process plays out and how her story can go on to help other people break their silence. Jesse Anton, CBC News, Regina.
A newly created police watchdog in Saskatchewan is asking for help from the public. The Serious Incident Response Team is trying to reach a potential witness to a fatal shooting of a man by Prince Albert Police last month. The 34-year-old died after an officer shot him following an unspecified confrontation. It happened January 16th at around 10:40 at night in the area of 400 South Industrial Drive. Investigators are looking to speak to the driver of this 2010 or 2011 Ford Focus that was in the area at the time of the shooting. Anyone with information or who might know the witness is asked to call or to email CERT. The federal Liberals have withdrawn a controversial amendment to their gun control bill that provoked widespread opposition. The amendment widened the definition of assault-style weapons to include some currently used as hunting rifles. David Cochran reports.
It is not our intention, as I noted, to move Amendment G46.
With those words, the Liberals waved the white flag on their controversial gun amendments, scrapping a plan that critics argued unfairly targeted hunters and farmers.
We have seen the most underhanded amendment in the largest hunting rifle ban in Canadian history, attempted in the most underhanded way.
The Liberals tried to push through surprise amendments banning a long list of long guns that included popular hunting rifles. This was done at a committee discussing a handgun ban and without following the normal process for studying legislation.
You know, I don't know what reasoning the Liberals ultimately had for these amendments, but I definitely will underline the incompetence part of it.
The outcry was swift, the backtracking inevitable, the gloating immediate.
Today's humiliating climb down that we have forced Trudeau to make is a temporary pause in his plan to ban hunting rifles. He is doing this because he got caught.
Even as they backtrack, the Liberals have to plot a new way forward on guns to clean up this mess while delivering on their election promise.
We are committed to not affecting hunting and at the same time taking the types of guns that are capable of mass carnage off the streets.
We will work with the government and with those involved in preparing a new strategy for an amendment. We will be there working with the committee for this new proposition. We hope it will be strong for all Canadians. And I repeat it, our fight is not against hunters. Our fight is against assault-style weapons for our safety.
As they figure out what's next, the Liberals find themselves in a political mess of their own making, with hunters and gun owners mad that they even tried this in the first place, and gun control advocates disappointed that it all fell apart. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
Premier Scott Moe says he's pleased the federal government is withdrawing amendments to its gun legislation. Moe thanked Saskatchewan's chief firearms officer and firearm owners in Saskatchewan who spoke out against the amendments. Provincial and territorial finance ministers have wrapped up a meeting with the federal finance minister, Chrystia Freeland. They got together in Toronto for a pre-budget session. Freeland said, "We are in a unique moment in the world's economic history," and she called for cooperation to make sure Canada can take advantage of it.
We have the chance to create prosperity, good jobs, and more vibrant communities for generations to come. This is a truly historic, once-in-a-generation economic moment, and it will take a Team Canada effort to seize it.
Freeland says one of the biggest challenges facing Canada is the Inflation Reduction Act that was recently passed in the United States. It offers tax incentives designed to accelerate the change to a cleaner economy and could see investment and innovation money flow out of Canada and into the U.S. Cowess's First Nation chief Cadmus Delorme says he will not be seeking a third term as chief. In a statement issued last night, Delorme said the decision was not an easy one. Delorme's been chief since 2016. He was re-elected in 2019. He was in the international media spotlight in 2021 when hundreds of unmarked graves were found at the site of a former residential school near the First Nation. Delorme did not say what's next for him, only that it's time for him to transition to new endeavors. A new chief is expected to be elected in April. A mining company is donating $1.5 million to STARS Air Ambulance. Saskatoon-based BHP Canada announced the contribution today. STARS is a nonprofit that relies on both government support and private money. It says this donation will be used to support air ambulance operations and to help buy its new fleet of helicopters. So many people are watching Regina Pat star Connor Bedard as he's expected to be selected first overall in the NHL draft in June. But that's not where Bedard is focused. As Nicholas Frew reports, Bedard says for now, he's living in the moment in Regina.
At center, number 98, Connor Bedard.
The hockey world has proclaimed him to be the next generational hockey player. Basement NHL teams are thirsting for the best odds at drafting him, and many expect he'll never return to Regina. But while sitting in the Brandt Center before a midday practice, Connor Bedard isn't getting caught up in what has yet to come.
You never know what the future holds for, whether, for me I'm back next year or not, and it's something that I'm not thinking about that. It's kind of, I don't know if I would like to have that mentality of, this is the last little bit. I want to obviously be focused, like you said, and kind of be present on this group.
Few teenagers have a resume as decorated as Bedard's. He was the first player to be called up to the Western Hockey League underage, given exceptional status at 15. He's leading the WHL in points and fighting to get the Pats into the playoffs. But Bedard's stock really skyrocketed while donning the Maple Leaf. Within 5 months, he won gold twice at the World Juniors with Team Canada and broke multiple records. At 17, he was named MVP of the Under-20 tournament. His skill and successes have put him above the rest of his peers.
He's one of the very best prospects I've seen since I've been doing this job.
Bedard mania is in full effect. Fans are hard-pressed to find any Bedard merchandise in stock, and sellout crowds follow the team wherever they play. One of Bedard's Pats teammates remembers one West Coast trip in particular.
We were in BC and everything was sold out. Like Vancouver, I've never been. It was an experience. You had to be there. It was crazy. As soon as he stepped on the ice, the crowd went crazy. It seemed like the Vancouver fans were going for us instead of Vancouver.
How Bedard carries himself has also made him a great role model for a generation of local hockey players.
It's nice to have somebody local to talk to the kids about. We've had them sign autographs before. It's kind of it's a good role model for teamwork, for, team playing.
There are about 30 games left in the NHL regular season, and there are question marks around who will be dealt before next month's trade deadline as teams try to make moves to give themselves better odds at getting Bedard.
So that's the camera. Yeah, it's on.
But back in Regina, Bedard isn't thinking about it.
For me, I still got to prove myself, and there's so many great players in the draft, so I just want to keep working, obviously, and try to play my best and try to improve every day.
The future is for Bedard to see. Until then, he's focusing on being with his teammates and getting W's.
It's going to be on TV.
Nicholas Frew, CBC News, Regina.
What a difference now from this time yesterday, but the wind this morning did not make the warm-up today feel all that warm. We are heading into what looks like a really nice weekend. Ethan will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us.
This weather update is brought to you by the Capital Automotive Group. Trade and upgrade is on now.
Our weather specialist Ethan Williams joins me now. I told you, blink, cold weather's gone.
Yeah, a very nice day compared to our dip in the polar vortex that we had a little bit earlier this week. And the warm-up is still happening. In fact, really, in western sections of the province, we've cracked freezing and well above it in a place like Maple Creek. Still a little bit cooler north and east from there. And the reason that we're seeing this warm-up, or a part of it anyway, is because of this warm front that's attached to a low-pressure system that's been bringing some snow through northern sections of the province. And even on the backside of it, temperature's not too bad, dipping into between kind of minus 10 and minus 15. But over the next few days, what's also going to be helping is this warm Pacific air that's going to be rushing in, a result of the polar vortex retreating. Right now, it's over portions of the Maritimes, and temperatures are extremely cold in portions of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, but they're not as cold as it is right now in Mount Washington, New Hampshire, where with the wind chill, it feels like minus 75 Celsius, winds screaming over 150 kilometers an hour. It looks like an apocalypse right there right now with the webcam that's on top of that mountain. But for us, nothing like that. And it sure makes us thankful after seeing that to be seeing this very warm air over these next few days. In terms of our sky conditions, snow is beginning to move out of the north now. Now snow is moving into the south. Look for increasing cloudiness moving in tonight and a little bit of snow through central portions, mainly central portions of the province tomorrow. Another trough of low pressure moving through. I think we'll see a little bit of mixed precipitation, maybe even some freezing rain in west central sections tomorrow, but nothing too organized, and I don't think we're looking for a prolonged freezing rain event here. And then on Sunday, we clear out in the south, and we are seeing another system move through the north, which will bring a couple of centimeters, really not all that much, as we head through Sunday and into Monday morning. For the system tomorrow, again, it's really in a line from Meadow Lake right down to around Yorkton. 2 to 4 centimeters is the general amounts that we're looking for, maybe 5 centimeters around Prince Albert. It's been a gusty start to the day in portions of the province, but that is starting to die down. I think we could see winds pick up again a little bit overnight tonight, close to 50 in southwestern Saskatchewan in the Cypress Hills. For the rest of us, especially as we go through the day tomorrow, we're not looking for winds to be really picking up all that much. And on Sunday, we'll see breezes come back a little bit, but they won't be anything too excessive. Now on Sunday, it will be a good time to check out the February full moon. This is the snow moon, called that because it corresponds with the month of February, and that's usually the snowiest month in the United States. But it's not in Saskatchewan. Our snowiest month in portions of the province at least is in November and December, and then again through March. So even though we don't get to partake in a lot of snow maybe this month, hope you will get to enjoy the moon. We are looking for very warm temperatures, as I mentioned, over this next little while. And really in Regina, we're not looking for all that much snowfall outside of tomorrow. We possibly could see some flurries with that system. Saskatoon, a very nice weekend ahead. A little breezy possibly as we head into Monday. But you know, Sam, very nice temperatures. I'm sure glad that this warm air is here.
All I heard is you said it's going to snow a bunch in March, and I didn't hear anything after that.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
A Saskatoon pet store has teamed up with Callie's Wish Cancer Foundation to deliver hundreds of toys to dogs undergoing cancer therapy at the Vet Medical Center on the U of S campus. Callie's Wish supports pets and their owners after a pet cancer diagnosis and during treatment. So, for every $8 donated to Callie's Wish, Pet Planet contributes one Kong toy to dogs fighting cancer. The veterinary oncology team will give out the toys to their canine cancer patients over the coming year. We'll be back after the break.
Yeah, she'll get it.
And then I'm like, welcome back. It's time for another edition of CBC's virtual road trip series, Land of Living Stories. This time we journey to southeast Saskatchewan, a part of the province dear to a man who dedicated his life to collecting turn-of-the-century photographs. He left behind a legacy of heritage preservation. Laura Sharpoletti has that story.
And the picture of a woman, firewoman, who was a medicine woman in the Moose Mountains. And in my research, I found her name mentioned quite often.
Adrian K. Payton was in his 50s when he began collecting historic photos taken in southeast Saskatchewan. Payton was born during the Depression and later spent most of his life farming in Arcola, 184 kilometers southeast of Regina. The historian died at the age of 86 in January 2021.
Dad was passionate about nature, about the land, about the inhabitants of the land, and anything to do with history.
That passion would lead to the publication of Payton's 2018 book, An Honest, Genial, and Kindly People. The book is filled with photographs of First Nations people from the turn of the century in southern Saskatchewan.
When he got started in something like this book, it consumed him. You know, that was, he just had tunnel vision for it. He loved it, you know, and everything he could do, every spare minute he had went into writing that book.
Everybody asked me, what's your favorite? Well,
in late 2021, Payton received a posthumous Saskatchewan Heritage Award for that book. His daughter Gilman accepted the award on his behalf from the Saskatchewan Lieutenant Governor Russell Murasti. Ocean Man First Nation Chief Connie Big Eagle wrote the introduction to Payton's book. Big Eagle says Payton wanted to make sure First Nations people were interviewed and involved in the collection as much as possible. She first met Payton at a museum exhibition of his photograph collection in Arcola.
Immediately, he was very warm and welcoming, and so he was kind of giving me the tour, and we were walking down this hallway, and I focused on this one picture, and he said, "Oh, that's old salt." And I said to my niece, that's my great-grandfather.
Peyton's daughter says that now that he's gone, she will likely repatriate some of his collection. In the meantime, his family would like to see the collection in museums again.
We've had it went all over southeastern Saskatchewan here, and they would set it up, and it was just a photo gallery that moved from museum to museum, and a lot of people went and saw that. So that same kind of thing, if it went to Vancouver, he would have been ecstatic about that.
When he died, Peyton left behind his farm and land near Arcola. There lies a 10-foot-high pile of rocks Peyton called Hawk Hill. Over the years, he viewed it as a symbol of his connection with the land and nature. Beside the rock pile is a plaque with the names of Peyton's family members. Today, his children see Hawk Hill as a part of their father's legacy.
And what he would want you to remember would be to revere the earth and sky, to look at our, to understand how the land is important, to understand how the inhabitants of the land are important, and to tie that into your own life, because it grounds you. If you know the importance of the land and of nature and of those things, it'll help you through your life. It's helped me through mine, and that's because of the teachings of my dad. So that's what I would want people to remember.
And because of Peyton's beloved photographs, people in the Southeast will forever have a visual representation of that history and connection. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Arcola.
And Ethan and I are friends again, and he's back with one last look at your weather.
No snow right now, I can promise that, Sam, but it will be a nice morning in Regina and southeastern Saskatchewan. Hello to you folks out there. -1 by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Winds a little breezy to start the morning, and then as we head to the afternoon, I think winds will back off a little bit. We could see a chance of flurries as we head toward the noon hour. We're looking at to be at the freezing mark. Saskatoon, a little bit colder for you tomorrow morning, around -9. You could see flurries already, but the winds will be quite light, and they'll stay that way as we head toward the afternoon, looking for -7. The Frost Festival kicks off in Regina this evening. You'll have a nice evening with temperatures continuing to warm up. Tomorrow, of course, look for those flurries, but Sunday and Monday, we're looking for temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. A little breezy maybe on Monday, but some nice sunshine for that too, Sam.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
And speaking of frost, it is officially underway in Regina. Everything is up and ready to go for the festival that runs all week until Sunday the 12th. Things are happening all over the city with hubs at Real, the Warehouse District, downtown, and Wascana Centre. Some of the events are free. Others, like some of the experiences at Real, do require a ticket. Olympian Elvis Stoico is back performing this year, but this time it'll be a bit warmer for the performers and the audience. The show has been moved inside the Brand Centre.
Our bodies are more acclimatized to being indoors, so it's great to be indoors this year, a little bit warmer. Even for the audience too, it's going to be a nice time. And yeah, we're pumped. My wife putting on the production with the group, getting some local skaters as well that are going to be performing, and of course Michael and Kirsten, who have been on the world and national team, and they're out with us, which we usually do Stars on Ice with. So we're excited to be back. And Frost Fest, we hope that everyone comes out and sees the show, and we're going to put on something special for you guys the next couple days.
Stoico says he's put together a new number that he'll showcase at Frost before taking it on tour in the spring. The show lasts about 35 minutes. You can find a full schedule of what's happening at frostregina.com. And that is it for us this week. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask or /Saskatoon or subscribe to CBC Saskatchewan's YouTube channel. Ethan will be back with more local news and weather tonight at 11. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.